All right, guys. How's everyone doing? Good afternoon. Hope everybody can hear me all right. We haven't done a live stream in a little while, and guys, I wanted to go ahead and give us some updates on what's going on Bitcoin here. As you guys know, Bitcoin decided to go ahead and break bullish a couple days earlier than I thought it was going to. We did manage to break bullish a few minutes after I finished recording today's video, which was unfortunate timing, but we're going to get you guys caught up in today's video. Let's make sure everybody can hear me. I want you guys to go ahead and tell me in the comments and in the chat if anything is wrong. Does the video look choppy? I'm going to drag the chart around a little bit here. Does the audio sound all right? What do you guys think? Do we need to adjust anything before we dive on into it? This is telling me the bitrate could be a little higher, so I'm going to go ahead and try and kick that on up a notch if it will let me while I'm streaming. I might have to stop the stream. I didn't want to do that. Don't think I'm going to have to, though. We shall see. So, guys, I have been gone for quite some time. I just got home about, I don't know, what, 15 hours ago. I got home at midnight last night. I had to book it across Miami Airport for my connecting flight. I mean, that was a story. I will catch you guys up on all the adventures I got up to during the live stream. And while I was out in Colorado and in Florence, Alabama, we had a whole lot of fun, guys. Really, really great trip. I really enjoyed myself. But you guys probably will want to hear about me after we talk about the charts. I'm going to let a couple more of you guys join on in here. We're at about 80 viewers right now. I want some more people to get in before we go ahead and dive on into the TA. I know you guys want to see what's up. What a doom day. Bitcoin bounce. Yeah, welcome, Eric. Welcome, Mattis. Mattis S. You're always in the chat. Am I pronouncing your name right, Mattis S? You're in the chat enough that I want to make sure I'm pronouncing your name correctly because I have to refer to you sometimes. Oh, guys, it's so good to be home. So good to be home. I am ready, willing, and able to start doing a lot of things that I've been meaning to do. Excuse me. I just ate a late lunch also. Never Miami Airport, worst airport in the world. Yeah, well, I got the scenic tour on about 7 miles an hour, running. I had to sprint at full speed across that. If one of you happened to be in Miami Airport, then you probably know that. Yeah, I was, Kenyon. Funny to see that we have a friend from real life in the chat. How you doing, man? Yeah, I was in Miami Airport. I'll go ahead and I'll start the stream off with that story, guys. So I was flying home from Nashville. I was in BNA. I was sitting in Terminal C5. If you guys were there, then you may have seen me as well. But I was sitting there waiting for my flight, and the flight gets delayed, which was unfortunate because I had a connecting flight, and I only had like a half an hour layover in Miami before I come back to my hometown. And we had a delay. They said there was something with baggage, and then they say, okay, we're going to board the plane at, I think it was 6:03. 6:03 rolls around, which was like 40 minutes after we were supposed to start boarding, and there's still people getting off the plane. So we get on the plane, and I met this very nice person on the plane. If she's watching this, hello. You were fun to talk with while we were flying. I'm not going to say her name because I don't think she'd want me to. But so we get to Miami, and I it just so happens I'm sitting at the back of the plane. Of course I'm sitting at the back of the plane when I have to book it across the airport. So I scoot past some people up in front of them, and I take a run, and I had to run all the way across Miami Airport from terminal like D19 to D60, which was, if you look at the map of Miami Airport, I had about 10 minutes to run about like half a mile or so. It was fun. Fun in hindsight. I thought I was going to miss the plane. Anyway, I did get home, and I did get to sleep in my own bed for the first time in like 2 weeks, guys. It was great. Anyway, enough of story time. I will tell you guys some more later on because, boy, do I have some stories. If you guys have never been out to Colorado, make sure you go out to Colorado. And welcome to the channel, Mark's Zoto74. I used to live down in DeSoto County, actually. How's Jackie the dog? I haven't actually seen Jackie yet because she's been staying at a family member's house while I was gone. I couldn't just leave her at my house for 10 days. She's going to be coming back over tomorrow. So if we do a live stream tomorrow or the next day, you will probably be hearing from Jackie once again. Anyway, guys, let me go ahead and let me get some water and clear my throat for a second. I'm kind of got a little bit of a cough. I'll be right back. All right, much better. Let's go ahead and dive on into some technical analysis. I know that's what you guys are here for. By the way, before we do, if you guys aren't already in the Discord server, you should do that because we have a great community going over there. You can check out the link to join that in the description down below. Eric said marijuana from Colorado makes you speak faster. Well, there were a lot of people that talked quickly there. I just happen to talk quickly anyway. I'm not a big fan of weed, actually. But there was definitely a lot of it. Anyway, let's go ahead and dive on into our technical analysis, guys. Like I said earlier on today, Bitcoin has been in a downtrend for about 25 days now. Nothing really to be worried about. A lot of people are concerned when I really don't think they should be. Bitcoin has to have a downtrend. Bitcoin's been rallying for 4 months. Bitcoin started its rally back over here on this day, on the 8th of February of 2019. Bitcoin had been in a rally for like 4 months, guys. About halfway through this, I started saying, guys, normally Bitcoin doesn't rally for 90 days, 100 days, 110, 120, 130 days, 140 days. Normally Bitcoin doesn't rally for that long. And normally Bitcoin doesn't rally 200, 300, 325% before you see a correction. We were overdue for a correction anyway, and when you're overdue for a correction, what that means is that you're building up for a larger correction. It's not that you're just putting off the correction for later, it's that when you wait for the correction normally is going to have to be larger to compensate for the lack thereof during that rally. Now, part of the reason that this correction hasn't been larger, in my opinion, is because Bitcoin did have some sideways consolidation here for people to take profits, and there were also some places for people to take profits right here. That all being said, Bitcoin did not really have a correction until now. And now Bitcoin has had one, and while I was away, Bitcoin confirmed this from just being a temporary downtrend into a proper correction. We have crashed about 35%. I don't really want to use the term crash because it's nothing to be worried about. It's nothing to be scared about. I don't want to spread FUD in you guys. It's a very healthy consolidation that we're looking at right here. And in fact, guys, we've actually just seen that Bitcoin has started what may end up being a new uptrend right here. I don't know if you guys can see that very well, but let's go ahead and not click on Messenger. I do apologize. I'm getting all these messages. Anyway, what I was saying is that just because Bitcoin has actually had a crash does not mean that there's anything bad happening. It just means that Bitcoin needed to have a little bit of a correction so that we could have time for the bulls to sell some of their Bitcoin, for the bears to sell some of their Bitcoin, and for the bulls also. And now that people have sold some Bitcoin, we started to move to the downside. We can start seeing people take profits, and we can start moving to the upside once again. So, with that said, Bitcoin does seem like it's entered a short-term uptrend. I want to talk about that in today's video, and then we'll go ahead and talk about some more altcoin technical analysis later if you guys would like that. One of the first things I want to mention would be a rehash of what I talked about in today's video. If you look here, Bitcoin has some lower lows here on the chart, but we also have some similar lows or slightly higher lows here on the hourly RSI. In today's video, that was mentioned, and I talked about how it seems like that had already played out because we'd seen that RSI bottoming out, and then Bitcoin had a little bit of a rally up to this resistance. And because Bitcoin started moving to the downside, I thought, okay, we probably played out that RSI divergence, and we're probably done with it. Seemingly, Bitcoin did have a little bit of gas left in the tank. Whether or not this was as a result of, or even partially caused by that RSI divergence is who knows. But the fact of the matter is that Bitcoin has now gotten above that resistance. Bitcoin is now trading in the 5 figures again. Bitcoin did have a bounce, and that's a very good thing. Bitcoin actually has set a higher low also. Right here we had a low, and now we have an even higher low. That's a very important thing that you need to keep in mind is when Bitcoin is in an uptrend, when it's in a downtrend. Very simple stuff, but it's very simple and very powerful for a reason. It's because everybody looks at that, and if everybody's looking at something in technical analysis, you need to be also. Bitcoin has a low here and a higher low. Right now, Bitcoin's pretty far away, so it'd be kind of weird if Bitcoin did come down here in the next 12 hours or so and set a lower low. Want to watch out for that, because just because Bitcoin has had bearishness in the past doesn't mean that's going to continue. Trends change. That happens. That's the way this works. Let's go ahead and catch up with chat. I'm going to keep going here, but I do want to see what you guys are saying. Laxthor, our moderator, said, like the video. Welcome to the chat, guys. I have been missing you guys. I had to, I was making videos while I was out in Colorado, and after I moved out, and not moved out, but after I went out to Alabama, I was just, I needed to spend some time with family and not really worry about business or anything for a while, and it really helped me a whole lot. And I think the 4 days that we missed on the upload, or actually 5 days that we missed on the upload, is going to improve the quality of the content because I'm a much happier, mentally healthier person now than I think I was. A lot of good things have happened in the last couple of weeks. Take a drink of my water, and we'll go ahead and read some chat. Let's see. He's back. Woohoo! Yeah, I am very happy to be back, guys. 9 to 10K best expected. Tether exit scam coming. BitMEX going to be sanctioned. We'll look into that. Guys, I do have some news articles up here that I haven't read through yet that I do want to go ahead and talk about with you guys live, and you can see how I kind of look through news because I haven't had a whole lot of time to get caught up. I did just get into town last night, so you're gonna have to give me a couple days to get caught back up because while I wasn't doing videos, I was also kind of zoned out and not focusing on cryptocurrency because I really just need a break, guys. It's been 2 years, and that's really the first break I've taken, and it definitely did me some good. If you can't handle $2,000 dips, you don't deserve $10,000 gains. Yeah, you're absolutely right. That the meme that you're referencing on that is kind of, well, it's funny, but it's not true. But on this case, it is true. You need to be able to handle this kind of stuff because Bitcoin, guys, Bitcoin has a very large future. Bitcoin rallied $11,000 here in 4 months. I mean, what? $10,500, 315+% in the span of 140 days. You don't see that in other markets. You don't see that in gold. You don't see that in silver or stocks or bonds or CDs, especially not CDs, obviously. You don't see that in Forex. You don't see that anywhere. The one place that you do see that kind of thing is in cryptocurrency, which is why I advise people, and people in my personal life, I don't advise you guys this because I don't give financial advice on the YouTube channel, but in my personal life, I advise people that if they're going to get into a market, then they should get into cryptocurrency markets. They are extremely lucrative. Oh, excuse me, I just ate. Yeah, hang on a second. Alright, sorry about that, guys. I just ate, and I haven't been talking as much in the last 4 or 5 days because I'm a little out of practice with the channel and with the commentary. Like I said, give me a few days to get back into it. We're going, when Major dumped to $8,500. I want to talk about that. And the main reason I want to talk about that is because of this rally that we saw here over the last couple of days, over the last couple of hours, excuse me, when Bitcoin did this like an hour after I uploaded my video. Of course, Bitcoin decides to go and make some big move right after I upload the video. Now, that's kind of the move we were calling for. Not exactly. We were a little bit delayed in the prediction we made there, but I think that we predicted that Bitcoin was going to bounce in some manner. I thought it was going to take a couple more days than it did, but that's interesting that we went ahead and bounced there because Bitcoin wasn't really on any major levels of support. It just decided to shoot through the roof. Something like that sometimes is the result of whales. But either way, I do want to rehash some things that we talked about in the video in case you haven't seen it, because this is very important. During the bull market of 2016 and 17, Bitcoin followed some very particular trends. Bitcoin, during the bull market, would do something very similar to this. We would see Bitcoin come down and we would test the 50 simple moving average. That's this red line right there. Bitcoin would break the 50 simple moving average. We'd come down and we'd test the 100 simple moving average. That's this gray line. From there, we would bounce through the 50, come down and test the 50 again, and then use it as support to continue the bull market. That's why these two moving averages, if you go back to the very first video I ever uploaded on this channel, if I remember correctly, those two moving averages are sitting up here in the top left because ever since the very first days that I was in cryptocurrency, I realized this pattern. I realized how important it was for bull markets. And now that we've entered a bull market again, this pattern is going to find relevancy again. We saw that Bitcoin came down, fell through the 50, got up, got resistance at the 50. Then we saw Bitcoin break through it, get support, and continue. Bitcoin likes to trade around these two moving averages as support. The kind of zone that they make as a support zone is something that's very important, and that you see Bitcoin come down and test that quite a lot. Right now, we've seen Bitcoin has come down about halfway into this zone, sitting here around $9,000 and change, and we did see our little bounce right here yesterday. And from there, Bitcoin has actually been green for the last couple of days, and we've managed to get above the 50. There's two different ways that you can read this, in my opinion. One is that Bitcoin very well may not be done with this downtrend, and maybe this is a temporary pump. We're getting our kind of support on the 50 before we actually come down and break it, and we head towards the 100, and we bounce from there, and then we have our support and take off later on, and we see the market follow something like this. Or we could be seeing that Bitcoin has actually seen the bottom here, and that Bitcoin is done, and that Bitcoin is very bullish, in fact, and that we don't need to come down to the 100 simple moving average down here, and we don't actually need to have as big of a correction as you might expect. Because, guys, if we look back into 2017, what you're going to see is that Bitcoin would have major rallies, and sometimes it would have a 200 or 300% rally, but normally it would have about a 40% correction to follow that. Guys, maybe a 35 to 40% correction to follow that. Guys, there weren't a whole lot of rallies in 2017 that were this large, and a lot of those rallies had smaller pullback, or around the same size pullbacks as this. So if we were to follow the 2017 model, we would expect this pullback would be larger than it has been. It's only been 35%. But then we're kind of getting into the nitty gritty. And either way, guys, you want to look at the market as it is, not necessarily just based off of previous technical analysis. With all of that jargon out of the way, what should we expect here? Well, guys, I think it's It's not obvious exactly what Bitcoin is going to do here, but I think we are close to the bottom. If this wasn't the bottom, and honestly, there's a big part of me that wants to say that it is, if this wasn't the bottom, I think the bottom's pretty close, and I think that the bottom is going to be somewhere at or above the 100 moving average. If you're looking to put in a long, and if you're looking for a buy-in, if you think that Bitcoin will fall over, then a good place to put in a buy, in my opinion, this is not financial advice, I want you to do your own technical analysis before you make any trades as always, and like I say, don't sue me if you make a mistake. If Bitcoin does come down here, somewhere around the 100 moving average might be a place that you would want to look at, putting in a buy order with a very, not a very tight stop loss, but definitely a stop loss, like somewhere around right here to protect yourself for a long. Because when you trade Bitcoin, there's different ways you can trade it. You can trade it on short term, you can trade on medium term, you can trade on long term. Short term trading, you're working with like the hourly chart, maybe the 15-minute chart. Medium term trading, you were talking about swing trading at that point, and then we're talking about long term trading. Long term trading maybe being you buy for 6 months and you sell 3 or 4 market cycles later during the bull market. However you want to define that, it's not really important. The point is, this would be kind of one of those medium term trades, a swing trade. An analogy to what we're looking at here would be maybe you bought in right down here somewhere and you sold right up here somewhere. That's the kind of trade that I'm looking to get a position on pretty soon. I want to see if Bitcoin can hold $10,000. If we can stay above $10,000 for a couple days and some things on the short-term chart look bullish, I'm probably going to put a couple $1,000s into a leveraged long that I think will bring very heavy returns when we go to and above $14,000, and I'll keep you guys updated on that trade if and when I make that trade. That's going to be a couple days off from now, though, because like I said, I want some more confirmation of what we saw this morning. Nevertheless, there is a lot of money to be made in Bitcoin, as always, and I think Bitcoin is looking very bullish. I've been rambling for a little while. Let's go ahead and read the chat and get caught up. Major tether pump. Yeah, we'll look at that here in just a second. This is healthy pullbacks. Healthy pullbacks or opportunities to buy. Exactly. That's exactly what I'm trying to drill into you guys' head. It's nothing to be worried about, nothing to be scared of, nothing to FUD over. Simply a deal. By the way, guys, if you want to support the channel and support the live stream, you can use the super chat functionality right below your chat. If you click that little dollar sign, then you can type in a donation. It does help out the channel when you do that, and I would be appreciative if you did it. And also, if you're new here, make sure you hit that subscribe button, guys. We do technical analysis videos on the channel every single day, and I would love to see your pretty face on some videos in the future. Let's keep getting caught up on chat. That's what caused the jump all the way from Namibia. Bitcoin will do good. Welcome from Namibia. Welcome to the United States. That's where I'm from. No predictors of that weird bounce whatsoever. To call this a lower bottom is impossible to determine at this point. I agree. There wasn't really a big... I mean, I did all the technical analysis this morning before I recorded the video, as always, and I didn't really expect this to happen. There wasn't a whole lot of technical indicators that I saw, anyway, that would have pointed to me that we were going to see Bitcoin blast off like this. After we did see it start to move, we saw a lot of volume on this candlestick right here, of course, so you could kind of see it coming after it had started. Or you could see confirmation of it pretty early, I suppose I should say. Either way, there wasn't really a great way to call this. If you guys saw something that was calling this bounce and this this corrective rally, this move to the upside, I would like to know, because I didn't really see a whole lot of technical indicators that were calling for something like this. Definitely something that we didn't... It's not that we didn't expect this to happen, it's that we didn't really expect it to happen this early. So glad you're back. I have to go back to class soon, but look forward to hanging out for a few more minutes. Well, welcome, Delilah. I am very happy that you are enjoying yourself here. One thing that may have been... the only indication that I can see that Bitcoin was going to bounce here was that we saw a green candlestick yesterday. And to be honest, guys, this is kind of an inverse bearish engulfing pattern right here on the candlesticks. That's not really anything right home about. That's not really all that important, to be honest. So I didn't really see any indication that this was happening. Like I said, tell me in the comment section and in the chat what you think would have predicted that. I would be very interested to hear what kind of technical analysis you were using to predict that, if you did manage to predict that bounce. It really kind of came out of nowhere. Bitcoin, I don't know. Either way, you expect a major dump soon. Very possible. A short squeeze of uber bears before we continue the dump. Bulls need to capitulate before we go higher. I hear people say that all the time. I want to know what you mean by the bulls having to capitulate. Why do the bulls have to capitulate? Have the bulls not already capitulated? How do you define capitulation? Why necessarily does the bulls capitulating allow for a bullish rally? I've never really understood the argument of capitulation before. I've never found it to be particularly useful in my technical analysis. Maybe I'm missing something. I'd love for you to explain that. Nothing to call that bounce. I will look at the 4-hourly chart real quick, but I'm pretty sure I look for technical analysis. And yeah, no, I remember looking at the 4-hourly chart this morning. There wasn't any 4-hourly RSI divergence. Let me see here. Maybe you're talking about this downtrend and this being flat. maybe that's what you mean. That's, you know, I if that's the only predictor of that bounce, I don't know. I don't think that I can really reliably do technical analysis on a bounce that large with something that minor, because normally the technical analysis is going to match the severity of the move, and that just doesn't seem like that much. It definitely is there, but I think that's hindsight talking. I don't know that we would have caught that, and that would have been viewed upon as a real indicator in the moment. JJ Van Der Heaven says, "Hi, I love your channel. Keep up the good work from South Africa." Well, thank you very much. I would love to visit South Africa. My luthier, who used to work on my violin, was from South Africa. Defunk said, "Crypto Jeb, what about the futures gap? Can they be filled? Can you school us on this subject? Thank you." I'm probably going to end up doing a video on futures gaps, because I don't keep up with the futures gaps as much as some people do, because I don't find them to be as important for technical analysis in cryptocurrency markets as they are in stock markets. Apparently, there are some futures gaps down here around $7,000 or so. Maybe they're going to be filled, guys. Futures gaps are normally filled, almost always filled in stock markets. They're not always filled in cryptocurrency markets. So if you want me to, I will look into making a video on that. I want to give that its due diligence, so I'm not going to answer that totally right now. If I forget, remind me, like send me an email or something. I will look into making a video on that. Let's see what we're reading here. Guys, I have the hiccups. It's very annoying. I'm trying to talk here. Exact same situations happen almost on the exact day. Elaborate on what you mean by that, Richard. I'd love to look into that real quick. Nice audition video, Delilah. Oh, somebody's looking at Delilah's channel. Hello, Delilah. How low can XRP drop? Let's see. Yeah, let's go ahead and look at... Actually, before we look at before we look at altcoins, I'm going to go ahead and read through some news articles here. Guys, like I said, I've been in town for just over 12 hours, so I haven't really gotten caught up on all the news. These are 3 articles that piqued my interest that I got off of our Discord server. If you haven't already joined, feel free to join. In the description down below, there's a link to join our Discord server. And we have a bot in there that automatically posts news. And these are 3 articles that I found relatively interesting. Let's go ahead and switch over to our full screen so that we can go ahead and read through this article. As you guys know, Facebook and Libra have been in Congress lately. I need to get caught up on that story also, because a lot of that has been developing while I was away on my vacation. But we're going to go ahead and read through this real quick. I have not pre-read this, so you guys are going to see me reading this for the first time. U.S. Congressman Patrick McHenry, who serves the 10th District of North Carolina, has weighed in on the matter of Bitcoin and whether it can be ended. According to him, there's absolutely no capacity to kill Bitcoin. You can't kill Bitcoin. You're absolutely right. You cannot kill Bitcoin. That's something I was talking about with my cousin, who I am getting into cryptocurrency trading, is that Bitcoin is pretty much impossible to be stopped at this point. You can try and regulate it all you want. People are going to get around it. You need to look no further than Venezuela for proof of that. You need to look no further than marijuana and how it's being legalized all across the country now, because the government can't really stop things that it thinks it can stop. Bitcoin is a good example of that. You could hinder the adoption of Bitcoin, but you would never actually stop Bitcoin, and people would still find reasons to use it, and it would still find a way into the mass, into public adoption in a matter of time. It'd slow Bitcoin down if you tried. But guys, there's one way to stop Bitcoin, and that's with a 51% attack through the mining. There are like 2 entities in the world that can do anything even close to that. You have the United States, China, maybe the United Nations, not the United Nations. The United Nations doesn't do anything. Maybe the European Union, maybe Russia could mount a 51% attack on Bitcoin. There's no other entity on the face of the planet that has enough money to get that much mining power and that much energy to be able to pull something like that off on Bitcoin. It would cost tens of billions, if not hundreds of billions of dollars, maybe even over $1 trillion to do a 51% attack on Bitcoin, with how much mining there is going on now and how high the mining is and how high the mining difficulty is. It'd be extremely difficult. It's something that I don't think is ever going to happen. They have a couple years to even try that. Good luck getting Congress to agree on funding something like that. We'd see it coming from a mile away before it even got started. The developers of Bitcoin would be able to push something out to put it off. It's not going to happen. You can't kill Bitcoin. That's the point. Let's catch up on chat here for a second. Let's see. Went explaining because in the defense of the death claw. He did explain the Bollinger Bands. I will look into that in a little bit. Anyway, let's continue here. I'm not going to read through too much of this because I think a lot of this is stuff we already know. Like I said, I didn't really read these. I wanted to read these on stream so you guys see how I read news, because I find it pretty I find it interesting to see how other people do their research in Bitcoin, because researching cryptocurrency and researching the news and technical analysis and everything is something that people don't really talk about. So I want to go ahead and show you guys how I do it. I basically just pick articles that seem interesting. I start reading them, and then one article will lead to another. Speaking on CNN Squawk Box, Rep. McHenry shared his thoughts on Bitcoin when asked about whether or not politicians and regulators across the globe would allow emergence of cryptocurrencies. The congressman answered that there's no way to stop Bitcoin. We're going to read this, and then we're probably going to move on to the next one. I think there's no capacity to kill Bitcoin. Even the Chinese with their firewall and their extreme intervention on the society cannot kill Bitcoin. Good point. So distributed ledger, full and open, in the essence of Bitcoin, as a first mover in the space, the developer of this technology. My point is, you can't kill Bitcoin. He's absolutely right. Thank you for the answers. Cheers from Las Vegas. Cheers from Florida. I'd love to go to Las Vegas. The last time I was in Vegas was a layover on my way to Seattle. You can't kill internet and also Bitcoin. You're absolutely right. You can't kill the internet, although the internet would actually be easier to kill than Bitcoin, in my opinion, which, honestly, yeah, the second easiest way to destroy Bitcoin would be to destroy the internet, which is pretty funny, because other than that, there's no other way to stop Bitcoin other than a 51% attack on the mining. Anyway, Ron Paul thinks cryptocurrencies are a great idea. I'm going to be brief on this one because I don't like getting into politics on the channel, because I will sit here and rant for 3 hours, and I don't really want you guys to have to listen to that. Former Texas Congressman and presidential candidate Ron Paul has had some kind words for cryptocurrency in his latest interview on CNBC's Squawk Alley. In short, Ron Paul is a fan because he likes competing currencies. If you've ever listened to Ron Paul, you know he's not a supporter of fiat currencies, a longtime advocate of the gold standard. I am too. Ron Paul is a two-time presidential candidate for the Republican Party and noted libertarian thinker. I am too, on the libertarian thinker front. In a recent interview, he told CNBC that cryptocurrencies are a great idea. I'm also going to let you guys read this one on your own. This is just him talking about that and the gold standard. Actually, let's see what he has to say about the gold standard down here. Ron Paul is a noted supporter of the gold standard and has often talked about how it is unfair that gold and silver do not constitute legal tender in the United States. These same arguments can be applied to cryptocurrencies, according to Ron Paul. Bitcoin has been compared to gold as a store of value, so the argument holds some water. He would be right in that, in my opinion. If you look back in the history, let me go ahead and get that up. Inflation... yes, inflation by year. If you go ahead and you look, when America went off the gold standard, I'm going to bring a chart up to show you guys. I need to get a chart up here of inflation. A little earlier than this, but around the time that around the time that, those are interest rates, I need inflation. Around the time that America went off of the gold standard was right around the time that we started seeing hyperinflation in our currency. Now, we wouldn't call it hyperinflation compared to other currencies, but if you look at this chart over here, this certainly looks like hyperinflation to me. As you guys can see, America's United States dollar started inflating after the war. After both world wars, we started rallying in the inflation here. 1971 is an interesting time, though, because America went off the gold standard in August 15th of 1971. Check out what happens after 1970. American U.S. dollars start losing a lot of value. This is the buying power of $1 in 1860, and today, $1 in 1860 was worth $30 now, as opposed to like a little over $4 back in the 60s. That is insane. That is not a foundation for a stable currency. It's not a foundation for a stable economy. And ever since we've been off the gold standard, that's been what we've been dealing with. We didn't see major inflation. Well, thank you for the donation, was that? Or was that someone joining the chat? Someone, or subscribing to the channel. Let me check what that was real quick. Ever since we went off the gold standard, Americans, the U.S. dollar has been inflating quite a lot. It's ridiculous. We see that the U.S. dollar inflates at like 2-3% a year. Guys, a CD is going to do nothing more than keep up with inflation. Half of the money you're making on a rental property will be going to inflation. Your savings account, a very high interest savings account, is barely going to be keeping up with inflation. It's ridiculous. The United States dollar is not a good place to hold your money long term. You hold your money in US dollars, and you come back 30 years later, and you got half your money. Where'd it go? It didn't go anywhere. You just have more of it because they keep printing money. When you're on the gold standard, you can't do that because the United States dollar had to be backed up by gold. It doesn't have to be backed up by gold anymore because we went off the gold standard. And there were a lot of reasons that we did that. I just don't think they were the best. By the way, that notification was Azura2712. Welcome to the channel. Thank you for subscribing. If any of you guys are new here in the chat, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I do hope you I do hope you are enjoying the live stream, and if you are new here, I hope you also enjoy the videos. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Holy hell, Jeb, do you have your keyboard mic'd? No, my microphone, it just happens to be next to my Razer Black Widow. I had to get a new keyboard the other day, or not the other day, like a month ago, and I decided that I was going to treat myself a little bit. Everything else in my setup is RGB and really colorful, so I figured I'd get one of these too. Take a drink of my water real quick. Welcome to the channel. Someone else just subscribed. That would be Jack the Sniper. Is that Sniper or Snipper? That's Snipper. Jack the Snipper. Hello, Jack the Snipper. Are you friends with Jack the Ripper, I wonder? Either way, let's go ahead and switch back over to our articles here. I want to go ahead and look at another one. Zuckbucks encounters resistance due to Facebook's damaged reputation. Libra may precipitate unfavorable legislation. We'll go ahead and catch up on this. Facebook's Calibra CEO, David Marcus, took another beating, this time from members of the House, with one lawmaker even scorning the proposed Libra cryptocurrency as Zuckbucks. That is pretty funny. I'm going to be using that term in the future. Marcus went before members of the House Financial Service Committee to explain the social media platform's ambitious proposal to enter the crypto space. During the hearing, which spanned more than 4 hours, most of the House reps made it clear that if they had anything to do with it, this Facebook cryptocurrency would never have come to fruition. Interesting. Very interesting. Following Marcus's appearance before sentence committing, blah, 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 blah. Plenty of speeches, little next step guidance. Looks like Congress is not a big fan of Libra. Libra is not a bank, but it's unbanked, Facebook claims. Lawmakers complain that Libra seems like it is a bank, despite the company stressing that the network is a payment service. Moreover, Marcus had to admit that he did not have firm numbers on the number of unbanked customers Libra could serve, causing more head scratching among lawmakers. There's a lot of confusion going into Libra, partially because it's not an independent cryptocurrency like Bitcoin. No one owns Bitcoin. No one is necessarily even centrally developing Bitcoin. It's the community doing it. So when you see someone like Facebook come in and start working on cryptocurrencies, well, now there's someone to attack. That's the thing I love so much about Bitcoin, is that who are you going to haul in front of Congress on Bitcoin? What, you gonna go track down Satoshi Nakamoto? Good luck with that. Where is he? Who even knows? The CIA probably doesn't even know. If they know, he's probably dead anyway. So how are you gonna get him in front of Congress? And what pull does he even have anymore? Because the cryptocurrency that he created, he doesn't have any more power over it than the rest of us, with maybe a few exceptions, because he is the creator and he does have some stuff. Not getting into that. The point is, you can't stop Bitcoin. Who are you going to haul in front of Congress? I mean, really, you're going to go and find the hundreds, thousands of developers who are working as a community on Bitcoin behind the scenes? You're going to haul the miners in front of Congress? What are you going to do? You can't do anything about it. You can't stop Bitcoin. There's no way to. You can try and crack down on exchanges. You can make it harder. They can make it a living hell and a nightmare to use Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, but good luck stopping it, because it's just not going to happen. Libra can do fractional reserve lending, which only banks are legally allowed to do. Are they allowed to do fractional reserve banking? That is interesting. I need to look into that, because if they do, that does sound like something that would be a bank. Facebook's always been a little... I don't really want to bash Facebook too much, because I'm probably going to be working with them for advertising soon. But Facebook is... I'm going to leave it at that, actually. Andre George, tape your phone to the back of your clippers, duh. Let's keep up with chat here a little bit. How come you haven't plotted that descending channel yet? I've been looking at the descending channel. I assume you're talking about the one right here. I just haven't talked about it a whole lot. This is the main reason I haven't talked about this, is because it basically represents the same thing we've been talking about here for the last couple of days, that Bitcoin is probably just in a little bit of a downtrend. If you look on the long term, probably the reason you said that is because it does look like a bull flag of some caliber, and Bitcoin will probably, when you move into a descending channel like this, you normally break to the same direction. That is something I suppose I should mention, so there you go. We are in a bit of a descending channel here ever since then. Let's go. Yeah, I do apologize for the keyboard, guys. I do have a very loud keyboard. And no, it is not mic'd. That's pretty funny. Yeah, we do need to vote for John McAfee, because we don't want John McAfee to eat a schlong on national television. I, for one, would not like to see that. Maybe you guys would. I might just give him my vote so that I don't have to vote in this coming election. Because I am going to vote for someone. I'm not going to tell you who, though. Go back to Mexico. Now, who are you telling to go back to Mexico? That wasn't very nice. Let's see. I need to figure out who you were telling to go back to Mexico, because you might have to be put in timeout for being a little bit of a jerk, huh? That's not a very nice thing to say. He's excited, but he's getting wrecked. $1 million Bitcoin. Yeah, Bitcoin is not going to Bitcoin. Bitcoin is not going to Bitcoin. Bitcoin is not going to $1 million by the time he said it was going to. I do think it will in the future. It's not going to be there yet. Someone asked where I think Bitcoin is going this year. Honestly, I think that at the rate we're going, guys, Bitcoin could very easily be trading at or above $20,000 by the end of the year. Bitcoin rallied 300% over $10,000 in the span of about 5 months. We've got another 5 or 6 months left in the year. I don't really see a reason that we couldn't go to 20K, although as we continue moving forward, it is kind of stretching it a little bit. We'll see what happens, but somewhere within 20 to 30% of 20K, I think is a fair price target. Oh, sorry, I had to give myself, had a little bit of a thing. By the way, Hossam Jarar, I do hope I didn't just butcher your name, donated $10 through Super Chat. He says Bitcoin has retraced to the 61.8% Fibonacci level. The 61.8% Fibonacci, Bitcoin has retraced to the 618. He means the 61.8% Fibonacci level every time it had a parabolic run. Seems like to the point of max pain for bulls. 100% of the time beats anything else. Love the show and your insights. Welcome back. Well, thank you so much for welcoming back. Let's go ahead and look at our Fibonacci levels. Like I said, guys, I have been out of the loop for a little while, so I may have missed something. I don't think I did because I don't think we've retraced that far, but we will go ahead and check. I assume he's talking about this. And it does look like Bitcoin has come down close to the 0.5 level. I'd be interested to see where he's talking about the start here. Of course, we're flipping this. I'd like to see where you're actually drawing your Fibonacci. Maybe you're drawing it right here from $6,000, because in that case, Bitcoin has come down to the 61.8% Fibonacci level, and this is potentially what you could define as a level of support for Bitcoin, partially also because we did have support over here at around $8,900 in the past. You guys see that I still had this trend line over here. I almost call this a moving average. That level of support right there is something that could be lining up. So maybe you could call this our bottom at $9,000 roughly. $9,000 is also a big even. It's a little bit below $10,000, which means it is also somewhat of a big even. Maybe you could define this as one of the reasons why we had a bottom. Perhaps the bottom is in, guys. I'm not totally convinced. I'm going to look for confirmation over the next couple of days, but I'm also looking for a rally, looking for a bounce, because I do think that Bitcoin is looking pretty healthy right now, and I do think that we are going to see some kind of bounce in the future. I just looked over at chat, and I saw someone say, Russia gas station country. Yeah. All right, well, go back to Russia. Who are we telling to go back to Russia? I'm okay with telling people to go back to Russia. Let's see. Who are we telling to go back to Russia? I'm very confused. Am I going back to Russia? Guys, I was born in Tennessee. I ain't going back nowhere. Actually, I was in Tennessee yesterday, so no. Bitcoin is overvalued. Quality altcoins will surge. That's an interesting topic. That's why I have CoinMarketCap up over here. I do want to look at altcoins, and I do want to look at Bitcoin dominance, because I haven't talked about it in quite some time, and Bitcoin dominance is relatively high. Bitcoin currently has about 2/3 of market capitalization, which is a higher figure than we've seen in quite some time. By the way, guys, while this is loading, I will remind you that if you are enjoying the live stream, make sure you hit that like button. Smash it into the ground, guys. The like button's been pretty nice. Been pretty cooperative here over the last couple of weeks, but you know, it always needs to be reminded to continue being good, because sometimes it's bad and I have to have you guys punish it for me. Either way, hit that like button, and if you're new here, make sure you hit the subscribe button. We do daily cryptocurrency technical analysis videos. I do hope you guys are enjoying the live stream so far. If there's anything you'd like me to cover here on the live stream, tell me in the chat, and hopefully we will see it. Someone said, yay, Nashville here. I was in Nashville yesterday. I had the pleasure of driving around Nashville once again, around the Music City, and then I had the pleasure of getting a bit of an aerial tour as we were flying out on the plane. Either way, what I wanted to talk about here was Bitcoin dominance as opposed to the altcoins. As you guys can see here, Bitcoin has been on a bit of a rally on the altcoin dominance ever since around April Fool's Day, when Bitcoin had the April Fool's rally. I bet you guys remember that back over here. Right over here, Bitcoin's jumped from around $4,000 to $5,000, and ever since then, all of this time in here, all of this right here, Bitcoin's dominance has been rallying. That's part of the reason why the altcoins haven't been rallying as much as Bitcoin has. It's because Bitcoin has been rallying in dominance. Bitcoin's been having all of the attention. Normally that does happen when you start a bull market or when you start a major rally. Bitcoin kicks it off and the altcoins follow. Or sometimes you see the stars align and the altcoins will do it themselves. Normally though, you'll see that Bitcoin is the one to kick off the rally. You saw this a lot back over here. I'm not going to get into that. Point is that a lot of times Bitcoin will actually start the rally. That's what we've just seen. Pervac just subscribed, by the way. Welcome to the channel. Like I said, guys, if you are new here, every subscription helps. We're getting very close to 25,000 subscribers. Let's go ahead and give a bit of a refresh. I'm hoping to hit 100,000 for us by the end of next year, probably sometime in the first half of next year. I'm looking to hit 100,000 subscribers for you guys. I want to get that silver play button so that we can all enjoy it in all its glory. Either way, the point I'm trying to make here is that Bitcoin has been soaking up a lot of the market capitalization lately. It's been seeing a lot of the gains, and the longest April Fool's joke either. That's pretty funny. Bitcoin has been absorbing a lot of that money, and a lot of the money's been going into pushing Bitcoin to the upside, and the altcoins have been struggling a little bit in compared to their Bitcoin value. It's been kind of hard to make money on the Bitcoin comparative when you're talking about altcoins lately, because Bitcoin, frankly, has been taking away, it's just been running away with the gains. Let's go ahead and look at this here. I'll give you an example of what we're talking about. In today's video, you can see that a lot of these cryptocurrencies are up double digit. Most cryptocurrencies are green today, but if we go ahead and switch this over to Bitcoin, then we're going to find that there's some green, but the vast majority of CoinMarketCap here, the vast majority of the top 100 are actually red against Bitcoin. And if you guys know anything about trading Bitcoin, or if you've researched a lot about trading Bitcoin, a lot of people, including myself, will tell you that you need to be focused on trading over Bitcoin to increase your Bitcoin value. Last time I checked, one Bitcoin was still worth one Bitcoin. So guys, it doesn't really matter what your US dollar value is. What matters is how much Bitcoin you have. I'm always looking to increase my Bitcoin value and the Bitcoin value of my portfolio, not the US dollar value, which is why I don't actually trade in altcoins all that much. I like to do some low leverage trades on Bitcoin when I am trading, or do some investments when Bitcoin has had a bit of a correction. Both of those things are things I'm looking to get into relatively soon. I want to see Bitcoin do well, and I want to see us get more Bitcoin, because in the future, Bitcoin is going to be worth a whole lot more. It's a good idea to try and increase the amount of Bitcoin you have, and altcoins have been struggling with that. With that all said, I would like to see the altcoins start to have a bit of a rally. A lot of these altcoins are looking like they're primed for something to happen. Ethereum kind of went to the moon here, up to around $360, and jumped off the metaphorical cliff, if you will. Ethereum is still in an uptrend or a downtrend, depending on what time frame you're looking at. We still have this uptrend right here. I'm going to go ahead and draw that, because this has developed since the last time I looked at Ethereum. We do have this uptrend right here. Like I said, guys, I have been away for a little while, so I haven't been up to date on my altcoin TA, but the first thing I saw when I opened this chart was this uptrend right here. Let's go ahead and switch that over to blue so we know it's support. Ethereum has come down here, and this is a place that I would be interested in making a trade, actually. I want to look at Ethereum over BTC. You guys are seeing me do some live technical analysis here. Let's see what this looks like. Oh boy, Ethereum always on that downwards facing Ethereum. Sitting down here around 0.02. Let's see here. I'm going to look at the daily chart. This is what I'm talking about, guys. It's kind of hard to make gains in Bitcoin right now on some of these altcoins. You got to find the right one. Ethereum looks like it might be in a good position for the US dollar, but same time, guys, Bitcoin is making good trades. Opportunity cost is a very important part of your trade. Don't forget about opportunity cost. A lot of people do that, and you don't want to be one of them. Let's go ahead and look back at the Ethereum US dollar. J Mama C Kayado says, remember, not your keys, not your Bitcoin. Funny you say that, because I've been holding my Bitcoin on my hard drive on my computer for a very long time. I'm getting to the point where my Bitcoin on my computer is worth vastly more than my computer is worth, and this is like a $2,000 rig. So I went ahead and I bought a Ledger Nano S like I should have done a long time ago, and I also had my family who is getting into Bitcoin get some as well. I'm going to be getting mine and figuring out how to work it, and then I'm going to be showing them how to work it, and then I will show you guys how to work it. If you'd like a tutorial on the Ledger Nano S, I will do that after I have mine. It should be here on Monday, I think, is when they said it was going to come in. Interesting factoid, Ledger is based in France, so if you're trying to buy it with a credit card on their website, you might get declined like mine did. So I had to call and get that figured out. Let's go ahead and catch up on the chat and allow my breath to get a little bit of a reprieve. Christian Lopez, I know, which you can't work with credit in Bitcoin. Please talk about Cardano. We'll look at ADA here in a little bit. Tether exit scam and BitMEX sanctions coming. Tether gonna steal so much before exit scam. You know, it's really weird. If Tether and BitMEX and everybody involved, not BitMEX, Bitfinex, and everybody involved in Tether does try to exit scam, they've got the whole boy cried wolf thing going for them, because people have been calling for exit scams and everything for a very long time. So if they do actually do that, then a lot of people are just going to write it off and say, oh, well, they've been saying that for the last 2 years. They've been saying Tether's going to blow up. So if it does happen, we might not actually expect it, which is unfortunate. What price prediction for 2019? That is something I mentioned earlier, but if you weren't here, I will go ahead and mention it. I have a feeling that Bitcoin's going to be trading somewhere around 20K by the end of this year. I don't know if we're going to go above 20K. It's hard to predict those things exactly, but I think Bitcoin's going to be within a 20% range of $20,000, maybe a 30% range. Something like that seems reasonable for Bitcoin. I do hope you guys are enjoying the live stream, by the way. If any of you are new here, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We do daily crypto. Oh, excuse me. We do daily burps is what we do. Oh, man. I got to stop drinking while I'm recording my my zero-proof water over here is giving me the hiccups. Anyway, what I was saying is if you are new here, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We do daily cryptocurrency technical analysis videos, and it does help out the channel when you do so. We are getting very close to that 25,000 subscriber mark over here. Need to go ahead and switch it back to our chart view as we're going to be looking at some altcoin charts. Let's go ahead and catch up on chat a little bit more here. Crypto Jeb will exit scam us. One day he'll stop making videos. Who knows? Probably not, actually. I'm going to be making videos for a very long time. I don't have any plans on stopping anytime soon. Nothing but growth plans. OMG, you're live. I thought it was a pre-recorded. No, those are premieres, guys. While you're here, I will go ahead and inform you of this, and I'll inform you of something that for some reason just popped into my head, and I'll go ahead and tell you. If you see the word premiere, that means it's a pre-recorded video that is going live. If you see the word live, then that means we're live streaming. And it says the same thing for premieres. You're just going to have to click on the video and find out, honestly. It's a little confusing. I was about to mention something. That's right. I don't know why this popped into my head. There was no catalyst for this, but there is someone who has been pretending to be me over email with the email address cryptojeb0@gmail.com. The only email address that I use for business that has anything to do with this channel is cryptojeb@gmail.com. You can find the exact email, so you can copy and paste that on the About page of the YouTube channel. If you're on mobile, you need to go on a desktop, and you can find it there. Use that email. If you get an email from that, you are more than welcome to ask me to prove who I am. I have no qualms with doing that. There are plenty of different ways that I can prove who I am. If the person emailing you can't prove that they are actually me, or whoever else for that matter, don't talk to them. I had a call this morning claiming to be the fraud center for my bank, and I hung up immediately. I called my banker and I was like, hey, is this number right? And they're like, yeah, this is the actual number. Don't get scammed, guys. There's so many ways to avoid it happening. I really don't want you guys to lose money or anything. It's just... It's sad how terrible people are out there. Anyway, rant over. By the way, guys, if you do want to support the channel, you can also hit that super chat button right below the chat box. If you type in a dollar value in there, you can donate to the chat just like our friend did a little while ago. It is very helpful when you do that. Bull trap, guys, live video is much better. I do like going live, guys. I don't know how long I'll be live. I do have to leave in about 2 hours, but we'll probably wrap it up before then. Not anytime soon, though. We're going to keep going for probably another hour or so. The proper channels regulator. PayPal transaction IE. Let's see. Do you guys have any questions? Is there anything that I would ask if there's any altcoins you would like me to look at, but I am not really prepared to look at 20 different altcoins right now. If you want me to look at any altcoins, tell me which ones. We already have ADA that we need to look at. More importantly, though, what I'm actually asking for is if you guys have any questions that you want to ask, or if there's any conversation topics that you want us to discuss, feel free to put them in the chat, and we'll see what we can talk about. Any comments on Neo? I actually haven't been keeping up with Neo for the last year, so I used to keep up with it quite a bit more. I haven't kept up with it lately, and the reason for that is because it kind of slipped down CoinMarketCap. The development slowed down a little bit. I haven't been keeping up with it as much. Maybe if you guys can tell me if there's anything interesting going on Neo right now, I will look back into it. But you guys have probably gathered from the channel that I like to keep it within like the top 5, need to focus on like 5 or 10 and actually get my fill on those, so I know exactly what's going on them, so I can at least be useful. I'm the kind of guy who would prefer to have 10 very close friends than 500 friends who I barely ever talk to on Facebook. Emery, our meme dealer over on the Discord server, asked for gold. So let's go ahead and look at gold real quick. Look at the GLD ETF. Gold did, I do remember this happening before I left, it broke a very important level of resistance that we'd been under for a long time. And by a long time, I mean like the last 6 years, physical Bitcoin, gold has been under the level of about $130. And we did break bullish out of it here over the last couple of weeks. This happened before I left. I remember talking about this in a video. Let's see, it was back over here about 2/3 of the way through June. June saw gold break up above. Gold hasn't rallied a whole lot, guys. Gold is above this level now. It's about 6% above. And honestly, I like where gold is right now. If this were a cryptocurrency market, I would be looking to put in a trade here because I would be looking for gold to go back up here to like $180, $190. With that said, though, guys, we're talking about what kind of rally is this? We're talking about a 40-50% rally over the span of a couple years. That's pretty good, especially compared to like the stock market. But at the same time, guys, if you're not factoring on opportunity cost, you're making a big mistake. And the opportunity cost of me putting money into gold rather than putting money into Bitcoin is quite high. I would like to buy some gold for store of value purposes, but at the same time, I'm not the most interested in putting a trade in on gold right now, even though I do like the way it looks. There are much better places for me to put my money, like in marketing for the course, like in building another product, like in hiring more employees for the channel, like in growing the channel through advertising or however I want to do that, through putting into cryptocurrency, through real estate investment, anything. There are a lot of things that I could put money into before I put it into gold. So even though I may pick up some gold because I would like to have some physical gold as backup, I'm not really interested in buying gold right now. Eric said, "Crypto Jeb, I'm close to jump to your TA Academy. Do you go over what platform to use for long or shorts, or do you go over definition?" We don't have a video on that yet, but I will answer your question in two ways. One, there is going to be a video on that eventually. I'm not exactly sure when because we do have a lot to get done on the business behind the scenes. I mean, you guys have no idea how much it takes to run this channel and how much stuff I have to do. I do want to get a video on longing and shorting with leverage on Kraken over in the Cryptocurrency Technical Analysis Academy in the future. If you're looking for a place to long and short, check out Kraken. They have up to 5x leverage. If you are outside of the United States, BitMEX is somewhere you can go. If you're in the United States, there are ways to get around their restriction. I'm going to leave it at that because I don't want to encourage any of you guys to go and do things against terms of service, but there are ways to get around it if you are outside of the U.S. I will, and also you just go over the definition. I can, well, or do I just go over the definition? Then that means you probably already know the definition. Longing and shorting is very simple, guys. Longing is basically just buying low and selling high. Shorting is basically selling high and buying low with someone else's money. It's really not very complicated, but like I said, there will probably be a video in the future in that because so many people have asked for it. Let's see. We've already dropped almost 35%. Do you think we'll be on the bull run soon? Usually we hit bull territory after like 40%. That's something we've been talking about. Bitcoin has had about a 35% correction from its recent high. I do think that Bitcoin is going to continue its rally starting in the next couple of weeks, and there is a very big part of me that wants to say starting either now or within the next couple of days. It's very possible that Bitcoin starts the rally from here and that we've seen the extent of this correction. Same time, guys, we haven't gone all the way to 40%, and there is more room to crash. I don't really want to make a definitive prediction on that just yet because it really could change at a moment's notice. Defunk Defunk, unfortunately, I don't do consulting calls just because it's just something I don't do. If you are interested, then you can hit me up on Discord, and I will be more than happy to talk to you for a little bit. I do have a lot of people trying to get my attention, though, so I might not be able to talk for a very long time. But if you go to the Discord server, you can message me directly, and we can chat over there for a little bit. I don't do calls. I prefer to do it over text. Maybe consultations are something that I'd do in the future, but it's something that would be relatively expensive because I don't want to have like a billion consultations. Not that I don't like talking with you guys, but that I am a very busy person and that there's just not a lot of room for me to squeeze it in. And, yeah. Let's see. Bull trap? Maybe. Take BTC profits in physical gold. I'd rather take Bitcoin profits in, well, digital gold, Bitcoin. By the way, guys, if you are new to the channel and this is the first time you're hearing my voice, then I would like to remind you that there is a button that says subscribe on it. You should go ahead and subscribe to the channel. We do cryptocurrency technical analysis videos every single day, and I wouldn't want you to miss any of them. Jack the Sniper. Let's go ahead and look at ADA because someone did ask for ADA. Crypto, spelled pretty funnily, said, "Hi, Jeb, just caught the video. Welcome to the live stream." Let's go ahead and look at ADA real quick. I have a feeling not a whole lot has developed on ADA. Oh, I take that back. I was about to say I don't think a whole lot bullish has developed on ADA. Quite a lot has developed bearish. Would I consider investing in Litecoin? I already considered investing in Litecoin, and the answer is yes, I would. ADA has actually fallen below its level of support here at around 850 sats. That's interesting. That's very interesting. I wasn't very bullish on, and hit the like button, by the way, also, like Rackley said. I wasn't terribly interested in investing in ADA anyway, to be totally honest, and now this has happened. I don't keep up too much with what's going on Cardano, so there may be a fundamental cause to this, or there may be just a lack of bullish fundamentals that has lost the exuberance here in ADA. Either way, I'm really not happy about that. I mean, I can do technical analysis on this if you want me to, but what am I going to say? ADA just crashed through the floor again? I mean, frankly, unfortunately, that's been what ADA has been doing for a long time. I've been looking for bottoms here. You guys see this level of support's been here since almost this time last year, looking for ADA to set some kind of support in, but honestly, I want to see ADA uptrend for several months before I see any kind of trade window on ADA. Honestly, I'm not really interested in shorting it either because ADA is getting kind of close to its absolute bottom of 0 sats. How much more can we short it? Then it's already gone down. So, really not very happy with this. I mean, there's a lot of room for a short, but who knows, guys. I'm not going to be trading this. I really don't like the way this looks right now. Christian Lopez said liked and subbed. Well, thank you so much. Please check 4-hour MACD hidden bearish convergence. Okay, let's go ahead and look at that. 4-hourly on the... you may have me having to go and check a definition again. Hidden bearish convergence. Hidden bearish convergence. I don't see any hidden bearish convergence. Hidden bearish diversion. Okay, you're going to have to update me because I'm not familiar with that term. I hate ADA. It's hurt me too many times. Yeah, I wouldn't be making any trades on that. Do you think the correction is over, or do we still have a target lower than $9,500? That I'm going to wait on. I will tell you I will try and explain what I'm thinking is going on here. I think that there is room for Bitcoin to have another correction. At the time being, though, anyway, since Bitcoin has had this major bounce today, we need to err on the side of bullishness. But at the same time, guys, this is really one of those points in the market where Bitcoin could either do one of two things. It could rally, and it could start the new rally again, and we could continue moving up. We could start breaking new highs and go into yearly high mode and maybe on up to all-time high. Or we could have a correction and Bitcoin could fall over and we could start falling down again. It can really go either way. And there's not a whole lot of precedent to say which one is going to happen. So what I like to do in situations like this is stand back and either make a trade that anticipates both movements, or stand back and not trade the market at all and try to learn as much as I can about the market during these times. If I were to recommend you to do anything, would be to either make a trade that you were comfortable with if it rallies or if it crashes. What that means is that have a long and a short, or a long and a stop loss, or a short and a stop loss, or just sit back and observe the market and try to learn from the market. Because right now, Bitcoin isn't in the position where technical analysis is doing a whole lot for us. I want to see exactly what Bitcoin is doing here. Of course, I've heard of bearish divergence. You're talking about on the MACD and everything. I will look at it in a little bit. I know what hidden bearish. You're trolling me. ETH is scaring me. I don't know what to think about the project, so big but performing so poorly. Jeff is the greatest. Well, thank you, Mary Dean. Why do you feel that? Jeff just... J-Matt, let's see. There was a little bit of a chat here. I want to see what was going on. Two gaps remain and will get filled, and someone said, why do you say that? Jeb just said they do not need to be filled. One thing is defunct. That's what I think. I'm obviously not the be-all and end-all. Just because I say something doesn't mean that it's the gospel. But at the same time, I don't think that gaps necessarily have to be filled in cryptocurrency markets in the same way they do have to be in stock markets. That being said, they very well may be filled. Some of those gaps are very far down here. Just because there's a gap does not necessarily mean it's going to drag us down to $7,000. Bitcoin having a 50%... I mean, think about it this way. How powerful is a gap? In the cryptocurrency markets, that is. In the stock markets, they're relatively powerful. Normally, they get filled. But a lot of times, they're not necessarily getting filled because the gaps are powerful. It's because the gaps are in places that the market is going to go to anyway. Is Bitcoin, by any stretch of the imagination, by any technical analysis, going to go down to $7,000? I personally don't see a reason why Bitcoin needs to go that low. Maybe it would. Maybe Bitcoin does. Maybe the bull market is going to fail. I don't know what's going to happen as much as anyone does. Bitcoin can be predicted, but it can never be... you can never predict it with 100% certainty. Maybe that happens. I don't think it's going to. I don't think we're going to see Bitcoin go down to $7,000 or $7,500 or wherever exactly that gap is. I think it's over here somewhere. I haven't looked at it. Well, I looked at it, but I haven't looked at it in a little while. We'll see what happens. Jeb is not God. Yeah, I'm not God. I never said that. Missed you, Jeb. Thank you, Joshua. Although God was talking to me on the flight home. I didn't expect Bitcoin to go up. I didn't expect Bitcoin to go up. Just a gut feeling. Holding on to 3 others as well. No others. Exactly 8,500. I think there's still room for bearishness, guys. Like I said, I'm not really going to make a call on that because either one can happen, and it'd be silly for me to make a call on something that I can't be very certain of, that I can't have a lot of certainty on. Well, I think I could draw a Stegosaurus on the chart, guys. Let's see. Let's see how my art skills are. Let's see. There we go. There we go. Here's our technical analysis, guys. This is what you've tuned in for. This is what you've subscribed for, a Stegosaurus on the chart. There we go. Perfect. I love it. Which houses wear dresses? What? How likely do you think is it the bullish reversal already takes us back to 14K? Like I said, I want to wait on that, guys. I'm not ready. XRP, geez, I'm tired. What do you think about VetChain? VetChain is one that I need to look into. It's going to be on my list. Kill that like button. Yeah, if you guys are enjoying the live stream, make sure you kill that like button. It needs it. Yes, you like Stegosaurus. Good. I like Stegosauri also. Did you guys know that the singular of macaroni is macaronis? You should go tell your friends about that. Good idea, Christian Payne. Let's go ahead and do a straw poll about that. Switch over to this. What am I trying to switch to? That. Okay, good. By the way, like I said, if you guys are new here, make sure you, 1, smash the like button, and 2, hit that subscribe button. Your name will pop up, and our boy Zambi will introduce you to the channel. He is our little zombie who does it, who does the thing. Anyway, let's get a straw poll going for what you guys think Bitcoin is going to do. I'm really interested to hear. You get to hear my loud keyboard again. No, excuse me, and me letting out little burps. I'm sorry. And I'm going to go ahead and confuse a friend of mine by sending him a shrug on Discord because I need it for the straw poll. I don't need the colon there. Hang on 1 second, guys. Not multiple, no. Create poll. Share. Copy. Okay, guys. There we go. Go ahead and hit that straw poll and tell me what you think. I'll keep you guys updated on the results. In fact, I'll go ahead and bring the results here up on screen. They should update in real time. Let's go ahead and switch over to full screen so we can see. We have a no. We have 3 no's. All right. Already in the channel. Well, welcome. Again. Technical analysis equals voodoo. TA is voodoo, guys. We're doing voodoo here on the channel. That's what we're doing. I know what it's going to do. If I invest, it'll tank. If I don't, it'll skyrocket. Correct. You are correct. I'm going to go ahead and put my vote in here. You guys already know what my vote is. Perfect. Perfect. Looks like the no's are pulling ahead. Let's give it some more time. Make sure you guys hit that straw poll. Let's see what's going on. I want to hear your opinion on this. Do you think the bottom's in? I had a feeling it was going to be pretty split. I'm going to lean back in my comfy chair here and look. Oh, I don't know why, but this poll reminded me of something that happened to me in 6th grade. It was a long time ago. I was taking a test in 6th grade, and our teacher, Miss... God, what was her name? It was Miss D. I forgot her name. Oh, I really liked her, but she had a question on the test, and one of the answers was, there were like 3 answers to the question, and one of them was pumpkin, and about half the class answered pumpkin on that question, and I was one of them. I'd like to drop it. I'd like it to drop a bit more so I can buy a few more chips on the coin. I completely agree. I would love for Bitcoin to go down to 6K, or excuse me, 8K. If you draw a line from April till now and support, you see that it is now on that line. Interesting. Okay, I may have missed that because I haven't been looking for a little while. Oh, wow, you're right. How did I not see that? Oh, well, I know why I didn't see it, because it's not a very clean line. That's why I didn't see it, because it's not as clean as I like for my trend lines. There is a trend line right there. That's not terribly clean. Maybe you're talking about on log chart. Let's look at the log chart. No, Bitcoin already tested support on that. All right, I'm not exactly sure where you're talking about that, but it didn't jump out to me. And the reason it didn't jump out to me was because of that. Here we go. Guys, make sure you keep voting. Come on, we're not done yet. I want to get more of your opinions. All you gotta do is click that and press a button. Very, very simple. Blah, blah, blah. Crypto is a scam. Oh, okay. I would love to hear why crypto is a scam. Let's hear it. In fact, maybe we could jump on a call and you could explain. Red 5 Gulf Gunner. Something about the maybe Golden Cross at the 3 days. I'm conflicted. Whichever answers win will be wrong. Well, people are saying no, so, you know. We're talking about 3K bottom right? No, I very, very much don't think we're going that low. Voted good. Also, guys, like I said, if you are interested in supporting the channel, you can do so a number of ways. You can use that little button down below where it says say something, and you can make a donation. I'm kind of tempted to have a call with our friend Red 5 Gulf Gunner here and see why he is saying that. Neil said, serious question now. I'm debating on getting your course, but wasn't sure if you go over ladders, where to set stop losses, or go over leverage margin strategies. Actually, we go over a good bit of that. If you look at the link in the description, that will take you to the sales page, and on that page, you can see every single video title in the course. There's a video in there on how to set up and execute profitable trades, and in that video, we go over exactly how to set up trades, how to set up your sell points, how you want to sell, where you want to sell, where you want to put your sells, how much you want to save for your investing portfolio after you've allowed, for example, you have like maybe 50% of it. Let me give you an example. It'd be a lot easier than me explaining it with words. I'm a lot more visual of a person. In that course, we go over, back over here on the daily chart, one of the examples we use, we have 3 examples of trades. And I go ahead and show you on this market over here how you would have wanted to trade that, where you want to put your stop losses with ladders, like you said. I believe I talk about ladders in there. If I don't, I talk about it in another video, I know. And we talk about where we want to actually have our stop losses. One was right here. I think I had one up here. I don't remember because I haven't traded this market in 2 years. Either way, we do go over a lot of that in the course, if you were wondering. Kane donated $5, said, just wanted to say thank you for the CT2A. Slowly watching the videos and starting to see trend lines better. I'm so happy to hear that. I'm glad you guys are... I'm glad you're enjoying the Cryptocurrency Technical Analysis Academy. We've had over 700 people join CT2A now. I could not be prouder of this community. Yes, that is an ironic reference to 2018's Rewind. Thank you for joining CT2A. I hope you are enjoying it. As always, if you have any questions, concerns, anything at all, I need to hear it. Let me know. He's trolling. Aha, I had a feeling you would. I had a feeling you were trolling. It's funny when people come into the chat and they're saying they don't like Bitcoin. I'm like, well, what are you doing here then? Some crypto is a scam. I'd say most crypto is a scam, actually, but that's just because there's hundreds of useless cryptocurrencies. Kane donated $5. Let's see. I think someone subscribed also. No. Well, if you guys haven't subscribed already, I think you should do that. But, of course, I would say that. What's the daily volume? I'll go ahead and bring the daily volume up for you real quick. We've seen volume jump a little bit here over the last 24 hours. It doesn't really show up on the daily chart, actually. I meant to talk about on the 4-hourly chart when Bitcoin was bouncing here. We had a lot of volume come in then. Not a whole lot showing up on the daily chart just yet. We do see that Bitcoin is trading right around its average volume. Please talk about what the halving means. Well, I'll talk about what the halving means in 2 different ways. There are 2 different things that you need to look at with the halving. First of all, the halving happens every 4 years, and what that basically means is the number of Bitcoin that are awarded to miners of blocks is cut in half. So at the beginning of Bitcoin, you were awarded 25 Bitcoin for mining a block. Then it halved to 12.5. Then it halved to 6.25, where we currently are. And then it will have again in a little while. I believe it's going to be in 2020. Well, of course, it will be in 2020. I believe it'll be in the first half of 2020. I want to say May. I don't remember exactly. But when that happens, the amount of Bitcoin we're awarded to miners will be halved from 6.25 to 3.125, and it will continue halving out into the future, way off in the distance in 2140, when it will eventually stop, and all Bitcoins will have been mined, and Bitcoin will be a purely deflationary currency. Simply put, what that means is that the amount of Bitcoin being put into the market will will increase at half the rate that it currently is now. When I got into the market, there were about like 2 million less Bitcoin than there are now. That rate is going to cut in half, hence the word halving. It's called a halving because the amount of Bitcoin awarded is cut in half. And normally when you have a halving in Bitcoin, the Bitcoin market is right around the point that it's going to start a rally. Let me go ahead and get a chart of Bitcoin halvings, because I don't remember the exact like day that these happen, but if we go ahead and look at these, I'll get something up for you. Control supply. Yeah, that's not exactly what I was looking for. Price effects and historical relevance. I love live streaming. This is fun. Here we go. This is what I was looking for, the dates in question. Let's go ahead and switch over. We're already on full screen because I forgot to switch earlier. Daily issuance rate. As you guys can see, reward eras. This is what we're talking about here. Right now, I said earlier that we were on 6.25 Bitcoin. We're on 12.5 Bitcoin. We started at 50. Apologies. I made a mistake. It happens. Originally, we started with 50 Bitcoin. I misspoke. Either way, the original block reward was 50 Bitcoin, and we saw our annual supply growth and everything. This was back in this range. In 2020, that will increase. I thought this had our exact days. Does it have down here? It does. It does. Okay, the first halving happened on November 28, 2012. I knew it happened later on in 2012. I didn't remember the exact day. If we go into our BLX exchange chart here, then we can look back into time on that. And we can see that right around the time that we saw this happen, right over here in November of 2018, or excuse me, of 2012, that was right around the time that we started seeing a very large rally on Bitcoin. If we fast forward to 2016, and we come back to whichever one we have here, July 9th, 2016, and like I said May 2020, that's around the time the third halving will happen. It's not exact when it's going to happen. We would see that on December the July the 6th, 2016, if we look on the chart here, sorry guys, I've been talking for 2 hours straight. I'm getting a little winded here. If we look at July 9th of 2016, then we're going to find that Bitcoin was also at the beginning of a rally. In videos I've done in previous, and I think Sunny Decree also did a video like this, he showed on the chart exactly where the halvings were, and I've done something similar to this, like here, and then out in the future, out here. And what you tend to find is that about a year after the bull market starts, you see a halving. And when you see that halving, and it actually, by the way, I forgot about this. This line is not the new year. This line is for the halving. This line has been here for like 4 months. That's what this line is for, is the halving. Normally a halving happens a little over a year or around a year after a bull market starts, and it works as like afterburner for the bull market. I'll do a full video on that when we get closer to it. Either way, I do want to get caught up on chat here and catch my breath, guys. I did climb a mountain like 4 days ago. My volume is too low. You can barely hear me. Is there a problem with the volume, guys? Can you guys hear me all right? Do I need to turn up a little bit? Satoshi Nakamoto is telling me that I need to turn my volume up. Well, if Satoshi Nakamoto tells me to go and jump off a bridge, I will go and jump off a bridge, so. Eventually, fees will exceed block reward. Yes, they will. And then halvings will be less of an event. More a couple halvings from now. Yeah, that'll happen later on in the century, around like halfway through the century. Bitcoin block reward will be less important than the fees. That's going to be very important in the future. That's not as important just yet. Lane Campbell, the reason I said deflationary is because Bitcoin is not static. There are always Bitcoin being lost from people sending Bitcoin to the wrong address. That's why Bitcoin is actually slightly inflationary right now, but in the future it's actually going to be a deflationary currency, because somewhere in the future the rate of Bitcoin being added to the ecosystem, it's going up at kind of like this inverse parabola like this, like something like this. Eventually you're going to see that the rate of Bitcoin being lost to people moving them into wallets and whatnot is going to cross, and somewhere right around here Bitcoin's going to go from an inflationary currency to a deflationary currency, and the total number of Bitcoin out in the ecosystem is going to start going down in general on average, and all of that. That's why I said that, and that is a very important thing, because the inflation and deflation of currencies has a whole lot to do with how stable they are and how well they work. There's a lot of there's a lot that we can get into that. Let's see here. But he said my volume is too low. No, he said your volume is too low. I can barely hear you. I think he was talking about that. Do you agree that the next highs will be broken by the end of 2020 or the beginning of 2021? Honestly, John, I think that Bitcoin is going to see its all-time high be broken sometime maybe before the end of this year, but definitely in 2020. Not definitely in 2020, but more than likely in 2020. We'll see what happens. It would make a whole lot of sense for me to see Bitcoin do just that. Let's see. Would you guys like to hear me keep talking about cryptocurrency, or would you like to hear a little bit about my trip out to Colorado? I'd love to tell you guys about that. I have some stories that I could dive into. Let's go ahead and look at our straw poll wherever I put it. I lost the straw poll. Great. I have to scroll up in chat. I got a yawn. Let's see what we did here. Results. So we have our results in for the straw poll here, and it's a perfect, I can speak, perfect 50-50. Is the bottom in for Bitcoin? There's a lot of people that don't think the bottom is in for Bitcoin, more than I would have thought. Interesting. I'll keep that in mind for the future. What's my opinion about Ripple? I've talked about Ripple with some people recently, actually, because my cousin, the first cryptocurrency that they bought was actually XRP, because they didn't really... she was just kind of looking around. She's like, okay, I'll try some of this. And I was telling her about XRP. My opinion of Ripple is that, because Ripple is not the cryptocurrency. People mistake that all the time. Ripple is the company. XRP is the currency. XRP is X in the same way that XBTC, XGL, all these X, and then the commodity is. That's why it's called XRP. It's called XRP for Ripple. That's why it's called that. XRP is the currency. Ripple is the company. I'm a fan of what the company is doing because they're working on cross-border payments and international payments, and they seem to be doing a pretty good job at it. The problem I have with XRP is that XRP, even though it is not by definition a security, as has been discussed by some very important people like the SEC and the CFTC and everyone, even though it is not a security, XRP still functions like one, or it still functions kind of like a stock, really, because even though XRP can be used in Ripple's company's platforms, it's not necessary. If XRP was necessary for their platforms and you couldn't use other currencies, I would be much more bullish on it. But because of that, I'm not as big of a fan of it as I could be. Let's see. Tell you about Colorado. Smoke some good reefers. No, I'm actually not a fan of weed. What's my opinion of Ripple? My friend is a day trading addict. He wants to know if he should long or short right now. Please help him. First, I'm not going to answer that. One, because if I say something, it sounds like he's probably going to go and do it, and I want him to do his own research before he does any trades. And two, because at this point, I'm not trading this market. I'm waiting to see what's going to happen, and I'm going to wait for a better trade, and I'm going to put leverage on it. I'm just not going to trade this because I'm not totally sure about what's going to happen. Because it really can go either way. The technical analysis is showing that Bitcoin can do several things right now. Anyway, well, guys, while I was out in Colorado, it was pretty fun. We hiked up to a place called St. Mary's Glacier. If you guys have ever been out to Colorado and you've heard of that, it is absolutely beautiful. It is, oh my lord. I hiked up, I live in Florida, guys. I was born in the Appalachian Mountains, but I've never been to the Rockies. I flew over them once, but I was facing south in the jet, and I've never been there. It is ridiculous. That place is gorgeous. If you guys have never been out there, you need to go. You need to go out to Colorado. Go to St. Mary's Glacier. Go to the mountains. Go and hike one of the mountains. They call the mountains out there 13ers and 14ers. 13ers are 13,000 foot tall mountains. 14ers are 14,000 foot tall mountains. It's nearly 3 miles above sea level. As we were flying into Miami, there's a screen on the back of the jets that American Airlines uses, and American almost screwed me over. Either way, there's a little button that you can press and it'll show you the altitude. And I was looking at the altitude while we were flying over Georgia. I was like, okay, we're at 14,000 feet now. Holy crap, we're very high up. And that's how high I was on top of a mountain. It was ridiculous. We climbed a mountain. It was great. It was great. I got very sunburned up there. My nose, oh man. I got a second degree sunburn on top of my head through my hair. And the funny thing was, on top of that mountain, if you go on the community tab, you'll see a picture of me standing on top of that mountain. That's Mount Snicktaw, 13,200 feet. It was like 65 degrees up there, and I got so hot because we were hiking, I had to take my jacket off because I was hot on top of a mountain right next to snow. It was a very interesting experience. Been there many times for work, and now you have family out there. I have a very good friend out there. That very good friend would be the person that edits these videos. No, I didn't get any altitude sickness. I did feel a little weird when I had the sunburn, because when you start getting very bad sunburns like I had, like not just normal sunburn, I'm talking like a really bad sunburn, it can actually it can mess you a lot. Hike Mount Rainier all the time. I've never been on the top of Mount Rainier. I'm not in Colorado anymore, Victor. I was there for like 6 days. I left about 5, 6 days ago. We had an Airbnb in Idaho Springs, which is just west of Denver. If you follow I-70 out there, then you'll get to Idaho Springs. It looks like a little truck stop. It's where the gold rush began. They like to advertise that. Although I did spend quite a bit of time in Denver while I was there. Last night we stayed in Denver, and I watched all of Season 3 of Stranger Things while we were out there. You grew up in Montana and now live in Washington State. Yeah, that Washington State is absolutely beautiful. I went out there once with a cousin of mine. Spent a lot of good quality time out there. Oh my gosh, it was glorious. Do you think Monthly Candle will close over $10,000? Well, let's go ahead and look at that. Oh, wow. Look at how far zoomed out we are. This is 2057 over here. Well, okay, let's zoom in here. Excuse me. Now, this monthly candle is very important, guys. This monthly candle is very important. And the reason is because it's currently red. We have had 5 green candlesticks on the monthly chart, and it wouldn't really surprise me if this one closed red because of that. With that said, if Bitcoin does turn green here and we don't go very far, something very bad could happen. And Bitcoin could actually have what is called a spinning top form, which would have a wick up here and a wick down here, and then we have our center right here. And Bitcoin can't decide what it's going to do. We'll see what happens. I'm not convinced that Bitcoin is going to close above $10,000. I'm not convinced that Bitcoin is going to close above $11,000 on the monthly candlestick. There very well may be more bearish price action to come. But at the same time, we've seen a pretty large correction at this point. And I do think that there is a good chance that Bitcoin has seen the majority of it, at least for now. We're going to see what happens. Like I said, I don't want to make a very... I don't want to make any prediction with any crazy amount of certainty because we simply don't know what's going to happen. A lot of times technical analysis is a little more clear than it is right now. I don't think it's very easy to tell exactly what Bitcoin's going to do. If you guys have a firm prediction on what Bitcoin's going to do and you have technical analysis or fundamental analysis that'll back it up, let me know. Maybe I'm missing something, but I don't think I am. Monthly candle sounds like a crypto band. Excuse me. Andreas Antonopoulos says dolphins get high off pufferfish. All right, that's interesting. Let's see here. Guys, like I said, I do want to mention that if you are new to the channel, I would like to ask you to go ahead and hit that subscribe button. We're getting very close to the 25,000 subscriber mark. I am so excited. I couldn't tell you guys how happy I am and how much you guys have changed my life here with the channel. It's really great that you guys have become a part of my life every day when I sit down and record the videos. I couldn't be more thankful. Go to bed. I don't need to go to bed, but I have been talking for a while. We're probably going to wrap the stream up here in a little while. If you guys do want to support the channel, by the way, you can use the super chat functionality in these right below where you type into the top chat, into the chat box rather, and you can do that. It would be very helpful. I never got altitude sickness after dozens of trips till my latest trip. It was a rare form. Migraines with sinus pain for days because I had no idea till 6 told me. Interesting. Do I think Hopper is dead? Well, I don't know. Questions, answers. Did you finish watching the credits after episode 8? Did you watch all the way through the credits? Because the person I was watching it with wanted to stop. And I was like, wait a minute. Wait a second. We gotta finish watching the credits. Something might happen. Did you watch after the credits? I'm not going to answer that until you tell me. Welcome, Tony Wong, to the channel. Zambi has introduced you. I hope you do feel welcome. Welcome, everybody. Tony Wong, excuse me, to the channel. I'm waiting. I'm waiting on the stream to catch up so you can tell me questions, answers. Did you finish watching the credits? And guys, tell me if you do watch Stranger Things. That's a great show. I may go watch it twice. I was trying to get my cousin into it, but she's got a lot to do. Very busy person. Tony Wong says, hello. Hello, Tony Wong. Welcome to the channel. Cogito ergo zoom. Hey, hang on a minute. He has to answer me if you finish watching the credits. You gotta finish watching the credits. And then you see them feed this guy to some form of Demogorgon. God, that's such a good show. It's such a good show. No, Hopper is implied to still be alive. We don't really know. He was it wasn't Kaliningrad. It was Kamchatsky. Kamchatsky is the peninsula over there, just north of. Just realized, yeah, we should probably wait a second. Stranger Things Season 3 has only been out for 2 weeks, so we don't really want to get into too many spoilers. I guess the Hopper thing has already happened. Russians, kidnapping, your stereotypical 80s television show, yeah. Anyway, guys, I think I am going to go ahead and wrap the stream up here as much as I want to stick around. Yes, I did. They referred to him as the Americans, the Russians do. Yes, they did. Okay, I want to make sure you saw that. Guys, I think we are going to go ahead and wrap the stream up. I have some people coming over tonight. They're going to be spending the night, and we're going to have a little bit of fun since I just got back into town. I think that is going to do it for today's live stream, guys. We'll probably start doing about 2 to 3 live streams a week here. I do want to continue talking to you guys and having these live interactions with us. And I do really enjoy doing this, guys. There's a lot of things coming to the channel. I'm very, very excited for what the business is developing into with what crypto is doing. I'm, in general, just very much looking forward to the future. By the way, guys, if you want to follow me on Twitter, then there's a link to do that. It's at CryptoJeb. I'm going to start being more active over there. What is current value before I get off? What do you mean current value? You mean of Bitcoin? Bitcoin, the current value of Bitcoin is $10,286. $10,628, excuse me. Yeah, Joyce really can't catch a break, can she? Poor woman. It's because Winona Ryder's so good at looking freaked out. Yeah, they say no, not the American, and they're, I guess they're referring to Hopper. Seems pretty much implied that they are. I can't wait for Season 4, guys. I want it to come out already. It's ridiculous. It's such a good show. Anyway, guys, like I said, that is going to go ahead and wrap it up for the stream. I really did enjoy chatting with you guys. If any of you are still here that are new to the channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. We'll be back with daily technical analysis tomorrow. We got back on the ball today. But like I said, I do want to thank each and every single one of you for watching, as always. And I will see you guys in the next live stream. Peace.